Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for a crypto highlight video. And this one's going to be about Hedera Hashgraph, HBAR. And this was also recommended to me by a member in the Discord. So make sure if you want me to highlight any asset for you, be in the Discord and message me in the crypto stock highlight room. And I will make an exclusive video on that asset just for you. All right. So looking at HBAR, and full disclosure, in the swing trade service that I do in the Discord, we're actually long this asset. So of course I'm going to give you both the bullish and bearish case. I'll give you what I'm looking at, but just for full disclosure, I am currently long. So I do see in the short term at least a bias to the upside, but just to make sure things on the up and up, you know exactly where I stand. So looking at HBAR on the monthly, there's not that much history. Of course, like with most crypto, you don't really get that much history. So there's not much I can say here other than, I am not that bearish on HBAR generally. I do think that it's going to follow Bitcoin one way or the other. It's not really proven to be able to withstand massive selling from Bitcoin or any of the higher market cap coins. But what I do like about it is where it's sitting at. So probabilities wise, it's sitting at pretty much the original consolidation before its massive shoot up, essentially, right? So this consolidation that it's pretty much trading on top of, which is around 5 cents, is a fairly decent level of grabbing a position with a high probability of holding this general consolidation. Now, the consolidation goes all the way down to almost, just under 3 cents, right? So the low is about 0.286. Right, so you have to keep that in mind. There's plenty of room to the downside, but overall, if you're looking for an investment or a long-term, position, and you trust this asset, you believe in its in its future, this is one of the best places you could buy. Now, it doesn't mean it won't break under, especially if Bitcoin starts breaking under 14, 12,000. HBAR will likely start breaking under this level and go to new all-time lows. But if we're just looking at the probabilities and we're just looking at the chart, this is not a bad place. It's much better to buy down here than somewhere up about over here, right? Especially in hindsight, you want to buy as low as possible, and this is for HBAR, this is near the lowest it's ever been. So not a bad place after a massive retracement. We're talking about a 90% retracement essentially from its all-time high. So not bad at all. Now, is there any trend lines I see on this chart? I mean, it's pretty difficult as there just isn't that much information. So I don't really see much here. So let's actually just go down to the weekly, see if there's anything more clear. So weekly, same story. I mean, the weekly does show that we did have a break of this tight structure that was forming. So we had this, what clearly looked like an accumulation that was being attempted here for a break up. That failed, obviously, off of the FTX news. That probably is what started this failure. And we've had a pretty decisive downtrend. There hasn't been really that much reprieve from the downtrend. It's just been clearly going down without much stopping. So that does kind of imply that we are due for a rest period, and we are at a major level. So I would say that if we're gonna have a rest period, this would be around the area we would do it. So let's actually mark this level here. This is the monthly level, so we'll actually do it on the monthly. So we'll mark this range. So the high of this range is here at about 0.62, so 6 cents, to the bottom of it, which is right here, which is about 286. And now we'll go back down to the weekly. So we'll keep that red. So we're trading within the monthly consolidation over here, which matches with the weekly, obviously. So this is not a bad place to try and accumulate HBAR for the long term. But again, be wary if Bitcoin and the larger market cap crypto start breaking levels, and the crypto space just continues to burn. Do not expect HBAR to be like, oh, it's hit the all-time low. No, it can definitely, anything can go lower, just like anything can go higher. But this is not a bad place when you look at the statistics of it to start buying. Now, is there any other cheeky trend lines I see? So let's actually go from this low, so the all-time low essentially right here, to this swing low right here. So this swing low that was taken out right here. So this was previously a low. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I wanted to change the color to black just so we know it's the weekly level. So we'll do that. So this level here, this was currently at the time, this was I would say the macro trend uptrend line. Okay, so it was holding the all-time low, and then we had a massive sell-off on the weekly, and we made what looks like a bottoming candle here, tapped this level, made a swing, a pivot low, and then we connected the levels. And this was at the time supposedly going to be the low. Now we've had this candle break through. Of course, in my book, I've mentioned this a couple of times, especially in my recaps. Make sure to watch those. The definition of a breakout for me isn't just that a candle closes under or below, under or above a level. I want to see that candle that breaks the level have another candle, at least the daily candle, close above or below the high or the low, depending if it's breaking down or up. So in this case, I would like to see on the weekly that this weekly candle or another weekly candle of some sort closes under the low of this weekly candle. And the low is about 0.0424. So if we had another weekly candle this week or next week or some week after close below this level, then you know that this actual uptrend line is gone. It's broken. It's no longer a support level. The zone is completely lost. Now, you can't just do this in a vacuum. I mean, there are different sort of candles. Like if we had this weekly candle, if this sold all the way off down to like 0.26, right, or 0.286, then you know this level's lost. Okay, it waterfall through. But that's not what we got. So we could potentially see if we do have a bullish week, especially weekend in crypto, where this level gets retaken again. So it's not really lost. All right, it's not really lost. So you have to keep that in mind. Now, if we do confirm it, then this line has to go away, or at least it shouldn't be seen as a support line anymore, or as measured as a macro uptrend line. You can keep it on the chart because it will likely play a role as resistance. That's for sure. So keep that in mind. But so far, that's the only trend line I see on the weekly that's somewhat relevant right now. Everything else is not relevant at all. And the weekly does show a massive imbalance here. I mean, you've had just consecutive bearish weeks over and over and over. And then this accumulation was obviously an attempt to try and get the fuel to grab up as much of this imbalance as possible, but that did not work out. We can actually let's pop this fair value gap here on the weekly. So this bearish FEG can get popped right here. So we'll pop that there so these are going to be longer term levels that you want to see HBAR eventually get to. So we'll pop some of these weekly FEGs here. And then in this one here actually wasn't fully filled either. So this low right here to this high right here, we had price come into it, but couldn't actually get all the way through. So that's still fairly relevant as well. Now let's go down to the daily and see if there's anything else right now in the short term. Okay, so looking at the daily a little bit clearer. So clearly, I mean, you came out of this consolidation like you saw on the weekly, and this consolidation is very interesting. You have to have the bearish bias towards it, and like I've said in the past, when you look at price consolidations, you're gonna get a couple different variations, but in the end, it always comes down to two things: like, is it bullish, is it bias? Is it bullish or is it bearish? Which is the bias? And this, you're going to have a bearish bias. Now, bearish bias consolidations doesn't mean it just goes straight down. What it tends to mean is that you kind of like grind to the upside, because the sellers are looking for the best price possible to let go of their positions, and also smart money is trying to short at the best possible level. So they'll try and have price grind higher. So they'll try to get the dumb money to buy into not smart levels and push price higher. They'll make the seller side of the order book a lot thinner. So they'll do everything they can to get price to grind higher. And then once they get to the level that they're comfortable with, or the best level they can get, so whether that's this ascending trend line, which is the weekly uptrend line, or it could be the very bottom of this range here, right? Then they'll look, okay, I took my short, let's push let's hard sell this thing and finally break this bearish consolidation and confirm it, right? So that's how this tends to work. So if we are in a bearish consolidation, I would actually be looking for more upside, and that's what I am seeing. So I am seeing the beginnings of a bearish consolidation here, and we already have the bottom side of it potentially being built. So we have this low wick here, and then you have this low wick here, and we'll change that blue. So watch as price matures, okay? That as price matures and we get more of this picture painted, that we may continually come back down towards this blue line to test it. And if we hold it and start making, you know, slight higher highs over and over, you're looking at a bearish flag or a rising wedge of some sort. So keep that in mind. Overall, if I was looking to play this you know, short, I would be looking to start positions in a couple places. One, we have this large fair value gap right here, this bearish fair value gap right here. So that's not a bad place. I'll look to try and target as close to the high side of it as possible. And then obviously this level here, the top of the monthly range, is another place that would not be a bad place to try and open short. So these are the two zones that I would look to try and target in the short term to go short. And then if I'm looking to go long, now long is actually not too bad. So if I was looking to go long and I wasn't long already, I would be looking for a retest at this level here. And if I was doing not a swing long, so swing longs I tend to give a lot more room. I have add-on positions and such, but I was just looking for, you know, just trying to do intraday trade or, you know, just a trade within the week with a very, very tight stop. I would look to try and buy here, and then this low down here would be would be my invalidation point, and I would close the trade there. Okay, so that's how I would look at this. In my opinion, from what I'm seeing, I actually see us going higher. I actually see us coming at least towards this fair value gap and actually making it all the way back towards the monthly high, the monthly range high here. That's what I'm actually seeing. And depending on what Bitcoin does as we're getting closer towards these levels, we could potentially even break it. Okay, you gotta remember this. A lot of this consolidation was bullish. This was a more bullish consolidation than bearish at the time, and then it was invalidated, and a lot of that was due to the fundamentals at FTX, unfortunately. But just looking at the charts, respect that this is more bearish than bullish in the short term and in the long term. Okay, so the macro downtrend is still you know, active, and the daily, the short term on the macro is still playing it out, is respecting it so far, because we did lose this consolidation. Now, I don't see anything else really. There's not that much outside of it coming back to try and fill out this fair value gap and potentially even test this level here, which coincides with another fair value gap. I guess I'll put that on the chart as well, this one right here. So this really small one right here. So I do see price making its way towards the top side, at least towards the top side, around almost 0.058, maybe even tapping 6 cents. Okay, and that's about it. If we do lose this level, right, so if we do start breaking bearish, just look for the monthly low range to be tested, which is 0.0286. It may take some time, but that's definitely eventually where it'll get to. It may eventually break that, but I do think before it breaks that, you do have a nice bounce, probably back to fair value gaps that may form as you come down. Okay, all right, everyone. That is it for HBAR. I don't really see anything else that's worth mentioning. Yeah, I mean, there are some descending trend lines, but I don't see it. It's not really that relevant right now. So you have this descending trend line here. That's pretty much kind of, actually it's this one right here, not that. Here it is. Yeah, this one right here, which again, not super relevant. We're nowhere near there yet. And again, since I'm in HBAR, you're going to be getting more updates on HBAR you know, consistently. So make sure to watch those crypto recaps if you're in the Discord, especially now since they are free at the moment. So just keep that in mind. So that's one of the reasons why I won't go super deep into HBAR, because it's just we already have a lot of information on it, and we're going to continually go over it. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, that's about it. Just look for this fair value gap to the upside getting filled, and once you start tapping the bottom side of this, watch for a breakdown potentially, and that's when you want to be on the lookout for this level, this consolidation to mature out and potentially even play out as a bearish flag or rising wedge of some sort. Okay, all right, everyone. For the third time, I'm going to end this video. All right, everyone. Take care. And remember, if you have any questions, let me know. And remember this. Always remember this. Be patient. Be vigilant. And be nimble. I love you guys. Take care. Bye.